showers and thunderstorms today with strong southwesterly winds to 37 miles per hour.
It's a numbers game, especially for the situation that we're in. We're coming off of a high water event here. The outdoors is not a hobby. It's not our passion. It is our way of life. We make the perfect cast, slow our breathing to execute a perfect shot, spend hours researching locations and techniques. Regardless of effort, we fail. This series is not about incredible bites or trophy animals. Our goal here at Day One Outdoors is to educate our viewers utilizing new technology to offer a different perspective. Watch as we research new areas, plan out the day, and adjust to changing conditions. If not for other experienced outdoorsmen teaching me along the way, I wouldn't have this life. I owe it to them to pass this knowledge along. I owe it to you. Join us here on Day One Outdoors, and let's learn how to become more successful in the field and on the water from day one. It's mid-October, and that is prime time for salmon. Well, guess what? Not this year. This year, it's been a tough salmon year, not only on the Columbia and its tributaries, but up and down the Oregon and Washington coast. But it's fall time. We all want to harvest. So what are we going to go do? Well, today, we're out here just off of Mardon Resort on Potholes Reservoir, and we're going to try and put some fish into the freezer by catching walleye, catfish, and crappie. Morning, sir.
Morning.
Ready to go catch some walleye?
I am.
Maybe.
Maybe.
What's up, bud? It looks like they're adding water to the reservoir here. There's a bunch of debris floating out here. It's getting picked up off the bank, and the wind is just piling up in certain areas, which means that the reservoir level's coming up, then there's water coming in from somewhere. Where's the water come in from here?
Crab Creek. It's coming in from Crab Creek.
Now this is just basically a reclamation pond. Even though it's 20,000 acres, it's a reclamation area for all the farmland around here. So essentially they're just refilling it up after we've had extremely dry summer and fall. So they're, at this point, they're just trying to get some water into the reservoir before we hit winter time. So you're gonna go finesse.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start with the U20.
Yep.
And what else are you gonna run? Because you get 2 rods, I get 2 rods. There's another fish on the graph right there. See a spin glow or blade? How fast are we gonna troll?
About 1, 2.
1, 2, all right, I'm gonna go spin glow then. So we're gonna run 2s, and I'll probably actually start with a 3-ounce bottom walker on my U20 just because it's gonna pull a little bit harder. Storage is always an issue for all of us. This is actually a flasher bag.
Right.
But dude, check this out. Bottom walkers, neatly organized.
That's great.
So pick your color, what you wanna run. These are my 2s down here at the bottom.
I'll run the chartreuse one.
There you go, there's your 2. So I'll run this guy off my spin glow rig. Let's run a little bit different one here for the U20 rig.
This is a super death hook, and it has this bend in it like this. And so today I'm going with a little bit smaller hook. This is a size 1. What it does is it rotates in the water. So it's kind of like making your worm into a spinner. And so in front of that, we got a spin and glow today, and that's going to help kind of keep it off the bottom, keep it from getting tangled up. So it's a great little tool. A lot of guys really do well with these. There's a lot of different ways to do it. You could use a whole worm. You can do a lot of different things. You can use a short piece of worm. They were short striking yesterday, so I'm going to use a little bit shorter piece of worm with a little less tail hanging behind the hook. It's important that you run the worm up the shank of the hook, and at the top of it, I always leave a little bit of a tag end on my knot, and that helps to hold the worm from being able to slide back down the shank of the hook. Leave a little tail on it, and it looks like that. And so when that's in the water, it's going to rotate. You can see that bend. This is a great walleye lake because they have a lot of feed in this lake. So there's a lot of small fish that are in the system here, and so they have crawdads, and it's just a a good environment for growing nice walleye. It's been kind of on a downswing there for a couple years, and it's starting to bounce back really good. Just a lot of feed. Plus, it's a real warm water lake, so it's not real deep, and so in the summertime it's like 80 degrees. Right now we're in 55-degree water temperature, which it's 54.4 this morning. The walleye, they're sitting on the bottom in these in the humps and down in the deep spots, kind of waiting for the small fish to swim by to ambush them. Basically, they're in ambush points, and there's a lot of these habitats, fish habitats that they've put out here. They're habitat boxes, they call them, and so there's a lot of small fish around the habitat boxes for cover, and the walleye are kind of inundated in those fish, feeding on.
Eat the food.
You bit?
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna get snagged. Is that a fish?
Yeah, got one.
Fish on, buddy. Well, that's a good one too. Well, I'll grab the net. There's fish all over that habitat box. Awesome. First fish of the day. Is it whooping you? You gonna go over top? I'll just come over there and net him for you. Nice.
Kind of different to be on this end of the deal.
Yeah, you're actually fighting them and landing them. That's a good sized walleye.
Yeah, that's not a bad one.
Yeah, that's on the slow death rig. Little finesse Hildebrandt blade. Did we mark that spot? Because there were a lot of fish on
I
that.
actually marked it right before that fish hooked up.
Yeah, because I missed a bite and then you got that one right as you were getting to that box. And I saw some suspended off that box too.
Yeah.
That is just great looking walleye. Salmon fishing slow? Who cares?
Yeah.
Go put meat in the freezer.
I like white meat. Good stuff.
Fish tacos, buddy. That's awesome. You know, you mentioned the water temperature. It's dropped down to the mid 50s. They're in feeding mode. They're trying to get bulked up before the winter time where their metabolism slows down.
It just
hit it pretty good.
It looked like it was hung up, and then it kind of shook a little bit and grabbed it, and I could feel the head shakes right off the bat.
Yeah, they just lay on it, just dead weight.
Oh, go ahead, man. Brag it up.
No.
Might as well.
No, because he might win in the end, and I don't want to be that guy.
No, say it. Say it.
1-0.
Okay.
All right.
I got to keep switching stuff up until I get bit consistently. We still even haven't had a good clean pass after Austin caught that last fish. So probably should just keep everything the way it is, but I'm a tinkerer. I got to keep messing with stuff. Don't go out and buy all these toys not to use them.
I got a room full of tackle at home, and I still buy stuff.
I know. Dang it, man. They'll fall it a long way, especially in the cold water, so I don't want to reel up yet. Oh, there you go. There you go. Come on. It's all those fish right there. There's like 3 or 4 of them. So what I just did is I switched up to a bigger blade. You know, usually in colder water, and like Austin just mentioned, even a little bit dirtier water, having a heavier thump to let those fish know exactly what's going on around them, gets their attention, brings them into your spread. And it was down for a few minutes and had a quick bite, and he stripped me pretty good. What I also did too on this rig is I added some corkies, took the beads off, added corkies, because we're trolling at such a slow speed that helps keep it up off the bottom, keep us from getting snagged up. With these double finesse hooks, you still want to try and get a roll out of your worm. You can't really push the worm up over top of the snell knot, so I just put it through just a little bit, and then I double it up, leaving a little bit of curl in the worm itself. So there's a little bit of bend right there. And now we're going to take the back hook and put it pretty close to the back end of the worm. What that does is it creates a bend in the middle of the worm and should give us some roll. There we go. Slide it up just over the snell, and that should create a nice little roll, almost like a cut plug herring.
Fishfield is your one-stop shop online for the gear you need here in the Pacific Northwest and beyond. From salmon and steelhead, saltwater, trout and kokanee, even crappie. Visit fishfield.com today to place an order with no sales tax and have the gear you need shipped fast. Fishfield.com, we have what the Northwest outdoorsman needs.
Every once in a while, a new lure comes along that catches every angler's attention. It could be because of all the irresistible colors and finishes, or the patented skip bead action. Or maybe it's the wide variety of sizes designed for salmon, trout, walleye, steelhead, mackinaw, and more. But just for the record, we know one thing for certain. We didn't design the mag lip to catch fishermen. Yakima Bait Company.
Yeah? Yeah, he's whooping me. That's kind of fighting like one. He's got some good head shakes.
Be a catfish.
There you go, dude. That's actually a really nice big fat perch too.
It is. Yeah, they don't get much better than that, really.
Well, it's even on the perch colored Hildebrandt little finesse rig.
Yep, it's got a little corky on it, give it a little flotation, little blade with a super death hook and a worm.
It's like you've done this before.
Once or twice, right?
Hey, you know, you're catching so many fish, you're starting to get a few puppy dogs. You got a few boats following us now.
Right.
All right, maybe I'll downsize.
I was
Dropped it
letting
on his
out,
nose.
and he just hit it. We had like 80
Get a little bored, get lazy, turn back around, and the rod's just. What's a lot of fun about this? We're not taking nearly as serious as salmon fishing, even though it's mid-October, prime time for fall chinook.
Yep.
And we're getting way more action than fall chinook. Oh, it's a gigante. I think this one's bigger than your smallest one. Yeah.
Man, Cody's on the board.
I think that bait's as big as that walleye.
I thought he was still there when I was looking back. I could
What are
still
you
see his
doing?
shape.
He swallowed it. Oh man, I'm feeling so great right now. It's like my 6th bite and finally get it, and it's what, 5-6 inches?
Yeah,
It might have been 6.5.
it probably was.
It probably was. Dang it! I just came right through that big group of fish, and right away, there we go, got him. Just let it keep swimming. I don't think it's that big, but
Right. We'll see.
hey man, we're having fun. We got a perch and a walleye. They're both good eaters, so we'll see.
It's a perch.
It's a perch. Biggest bait that we have out. Huge blade, big long worm. It's catching the smallest fish, dude. I mean, do I just need to go super finesse to catch the big walleye? You got that figured out, because you got a whole one.
Yeah. Hey, wait a minute. I got 2.
Clean release. It's a netter. Oh yeah, look at that thing pulling. Catfish? That's an inside turn, thing's laying on the bottom for a second. Maybe. We got a lot of fish in the graph right now too.
Might be a catfish. It's big, whatever it is.
Oh, that's a good head shake there, man. Jeez, look at that thing pulling. I see bottom walker. Oh, dude, that's a monster.
Take that.
Hey, that is a big walleye, dude.
That's an 8-pound. That's a 6-pound walleye.
Like I was saying, that's the biggest some of the coho we catch at the coast. Jeez. Pull him up out of there. It's a little Hildebrandt blade.
Look at that bad boy.
Dude, that is a tank. Ate that little tiny blade and worm.
That's a stud fish.
Dude, that's a tank.
That's a good one for this fishery.
Look at those teeth. That is a predator right there, man. That's a big fish, dude.
That's a good one. So a 25-inch walleye. This is probably about 5.5 to 6 pounds.
That was a really nice walleye. I want to catch one like that. You see that rod? It's just. People say walleye don't fight, and really they don't. But you get one that size on these really light rods, they're pretty fun. I'm over here retying, and you get to reel in my fish.
Oh yeah, it is a
Hey,
walleye.
same deal, man. The big blade catches the little fish.
Another hot dog.
Hey, you get 17 of those, it'll be about as big as yours. I mean, I'm getting plenty of bites on that big blade, but not the right ones. I'm using a really light rod even with these 2-3 ounce bottom walkers, and that's because these fish, especially in colder water, will bite really super light, so I like being able to see it right there in the rod tip. Next, and this is really important, a line counter reel. You know, we're going up and down over all these humps right now. We're in 36 feet of water. We'll come up into 20, 25 feet of water. Being able to quickly manage your line and know exactly where you are in the water column is key to staying in front of these fish. For line, this is 12-pound Maxima Tuna Blue. I really like this blue line because it's high vis enough that above the water I can see it. As soon as it gets below the water into the water column itself down near the bottom, it disappears just like clear line. A fish field bead chain swivel. And I also put a corky and a little rubber stop above that. That way you aren't reeling that bead chain up into your first eyelet on your rod. This is a Yakima bait spin glow bottom walker. This one here's a 3 ounce. We're running the 2 ounces in shallow water. Out here in this 30 foot, we're running a little bit heavier, the 3 ounce. Down to, this here is 12-pound ultra green and a couple of size 2 hooks. And I put, originally, this hammer time blade came with beads, but I ended up putting corkies on it to give a little bit of lift because we're trolling in this really cooler water. The 55-degree water, you gotta slow your troll down a little bit. So I added some corkies to be able to still run that bigger blade. And it's been getting bit. Not the big fish, but we're getting bit. And then of course our worm. And I've even tried shortening up how much worm I'm using to try and avoid those little short bites that we have been getting a little bit today. So even for late October, we have a lot of algae in the water right now, which is odd for this time of year because usually the water temperature cools down and it drops out of the water column and disappears. But here we are, late October, and it is just from the surface of the reservoir all the way down to the bottom, 35, 40 feet of water, just solid algae. And that's because we've had such a dry, warm year this year. So the algae bloom's been really heavy. And I'm guessing, Austin, this is a lot less than what we probably saw a few weeks ago, a month ago.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of changing colors as well. It's more green now. It was more of a brownish color back in the summer.
It's got even hotter. Because you said that because this lake is so shallow, it'll get up to 80, 90 degrees.
It does, definitely mid 80s, yeah, upper 80s.
How do you think the algae affects the bite for these fish? Does it affect them at all?
I think it affects their vision mostly, you know. I think that they don't see as well in this type of water.
What you got, buddy?
Perch, a nice one.
Nice perch? Oh yeah, look at the size of that guy.
So that is a pretty good sized perch. You know, they don't get a lot bigger than that. That's probably 12-inch maybe. It's a mature perch. You can tell the snout looks kind of bulbous and he's got a big mouth. That's a mature adult perch. They're aggressive and they feed on other little fish, but the walleye feed on the perch when they're smaller. So when they get to this size, they don't have to worry about getting eaten by a walleye.
Guess what? I got another little one on. And guess which one it was on? The big blade bait. Oh, dude, this is killing me. Oh, don't grab the net.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's half a fish taco.
That's 2 tacos, one side on each.
Big old hammer time blade for the win again.
Salmon swim up to 3,000 miles to return to their exact place of birth to reproduce. Well, most of the time.
Well, we had a really fun morning trolling around for walleye and catching some really nice walleye and perch. But we're watching some of these other fishermen out here and they're catching some great sized bluegill. And we know there's a lot of good bluegill and crappie in here, so we're gonna try and switch it up a little bit, break the monotony and do a little bobber fishing. There they are right below the boat. Oh, I had one. Oh, dang it. I had one too. Since we're just gonna sit still while I'm casting that little spin dandy. Again, we're allowed 2 rods here, might as well use them all. I'm gonna start by adding just some Procure eggs, little single eggs, since there are some bluegill around here and the bluegill will absolutely eat these things. Then I'm gonna put on a little bit of that shrimp krill oil It's important to use the oil because if you use the gel or even the super sauce, it's just too heavy, too dense, and it'll kill any action that you might be getting out of the marabou. And then just like in steelhead fishing, we want to make sure that that knot is sitting straight up and down so that way it holds that jig just like that. Good little profile. Oh, he's a big one. It was just on that PERCH egg with the look at the size of that freaking bluegill. He swallowed that too.
Yeah, he crushed it. Look at the egg juice.
Yep, a little bit of that PERCH egg, and then I put that shrimp krill on there too. Look at the size of that freaking bluegill. Dude, it's huge. That's fish tacos. The crappie, nice. Check that out.
Bit on that little maxi jig with a little twirl tail on it.
Yeah.
And a power or a PERCH single egg. Nice little fish. He's not going to be a keeper. They got to be 9 inches. What is it?
It's fighting hard.
Bluegill.
Big bluegill. God, those things are huge. Did you tip that one too?
Yep.
They got that funky color to them. They're almost white, you know?
They are weird looking bluegills too, because the snout's really sawed off on them. They got big belly on them.
Yeah, buddy. Crappie like that red and white one. Yeah, you think he's still there? Nice. Crappie. That one's getting a little bigger.
Not bad, one's a maxi jig.
And there's another dinner plate bluegill. We're gonna get ourselves a meal after all.
It's like bringing me back to being a kid.
Yeah, we were kids. And it's October.
See, I've been fishing all year and now I'm like playing around doing this kind of fun.
Yeah, such cool looking fish. Little footballs. The rig that we're using is exactly what we used to use when we were little kids. Essentially the red and white bobber with a little crappie jig underneath. This is your basic, 6.5 foot long, ultralight trout rod. These fish are smaller. We want to have a lot of fun with them, so why not? Then just a little spinning reel here, about a 1500 size. And this is 8-pound Maxima Ultra Green, just in case we do hook into a little bit bigger walleye or even a catfish. Then from there, we go down to our slip bobber. Now this is just a little tiny 1/8 ounce fish field bobber here, and it's on a slip rig just the same way that we set up for steelhead. And if you look down in my reel here, actually, you can see my little bobber stops right there. And we have them set so that these fish are actually coming up and looking at our gear. They're down about 15, 18 feet right now, and our bobbers are set right about 16 feet, so they just come right up and look at it. Down to an 1/8 ounce egg weight, just a small little swivel. And then this is 5-pound Maxima Clear. You can also use fluorocarbon, but frankly, 4 to 6 pound clear line will work out just fine. Then from about 18 inches, 24 inches of that 5-pound Maxima Clear down to a maxi jig. And this is the exact same style maxi jigs that we use for steelhead, just shrunk down, a lot smaller in size. Then as we've been talking about, that little single PERCH egg with some of that shrimp krill sauce on the marabou, that's been pretty productive for us so far. Fish on!
Bluegill.
Bluegill. Oh, look at that cute little bluegill. You get the price for the smallest one. I was trying to get it down close to the bottom and bam. I think we just need to drop it down deeper. Weird, like trust your electronics or something.
Yeah.
Bruiser. Yeah, look
That
at
one's a
the
little more
orange belly on that
yellow.
one.
More stripes in them.
That's cool. You get the lucky lottery ticket. We're gonna try and mix it up a little bit. We're having fun. We catch them on bottom walkers, trolling slow. Got bluegill and crappie on bobbers. Now we're gonna see what the heck we catch trolling bag lips. We're gonna speed it up a little bit. Maybe we'll catch catfish, maybe we catch bass, maybe we catch walleye, who knows? But we're gonna make one last pass here, wrap up the day, and see if we can't scrounge up another fish. Today's been a lot of fun, and it's just been great being able to mix it up and try a bunch of different rigs. Catch fish on all of them. Yeah, it's on that timber tiger too.
Timber tiger, baby.
Nice, dude. Got one trolling. I don't know, I might need to slow down though. He's pulling good. Oh, he's on the surface. Old school timber tiger.
Old school timber tiger. I love fishing plugs, man. It's one of my favorite ways to catch fish.
It's gonna cover a lot of water real fast.
Yep, we did a lot of techniques today. You know, this lake is a lake of many techniques, I guess.
Well, there's all sorts of structure, so that way you can use more techniques. It's not really fighting like a smallmouth, but
Largemouth, maybe. We've been catching some largemouth in this area.
smallmouth head shakes right there. Just bulldogging. Coming up.
Oh yeah.
Nice big smallmouth. You can check this guy out. Oh yeah. Look at that brown bass. Those red eyes on that guy. Nice 2.5 pound smallie.
Good fish.
Yeah, bud.
Pull hard, huh?
Dude, these smallmouth pull so hard. And then on top of that, you throw in like an ultralight rod. These are rods I use for obviously walleye, but also kokanee.
Right.
You throw a 2.5 pound smallie on that, that's a solid fish.
Yeah, that's cool.
It could be salmon fishing. This is prime time for salmon, but this year's just a tough year. Everything in nature is cyclical. There's always ups and downs, there's always swings. This year is a downhill swing, and we're still fishermen. We want to come out here and come play. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna come catch walleye, perch, bluegill, big, fat, hefty brown bass. That's awesome.